What is wrong with Joe Biden?
No, it's not my job to criticize the head of United States. You know, it's not a good business idea anyway.
But you would rather there was a different. You would rather there was a different leader of the United States.
I would rather say that the American Democrats are far more ideologically led than the Republicans, and the Democrats always like to convince you and sometimes force you how to live. And I don't like it. We have our own culture. The culture defines how we live. Don't interfere, please. Don't educate us. Don't say what is good, what is bad, what is liberal. We don't like that. It's not your job. It's not the job of the Americans and any other nation. It's the Hungarian job. That's so simple. But Donald Trump understands it. That's important.
So I just got yelled at for asking a very reasonable question. So I'm applying to go somewhere, and I just wanted to know, are there accommodations for people who struggle with time blindness and being on time? And then the person I was with interrupted and acted like I was asking something else. And then when we were done, they actually started yelling at me and saying that accommodations for time blindness doesn't exist. And if you struggle with being on time, you'll never be able to get a job. Provided you're trying your absolute best to be there. And then they're like, your stupid generation wants to destroy the workplace. And yeah, I think that a culture where workers are just cut off because they struggle with being on time, when there's other solutions that we can look to, I think that just anybody who thinks it's okay to just treat people like that, yeah, that culture needs to be dismantled. And then I asked that person, how can you feel good about yourself upholding this kind of system? And then to think I'm entitled. No, if people think it's okay to treat others like this, that's entitlement.
Let me begin with my generalized assessment of the movie. This movie is not just a piece of shit. This movie is a flaming piece of dog shit piled atop an entire dumpster on fire, piled atop a landfill filled with dog shit. It is one of the worst movies I've ever seen. On every possible level, it is a horrific movie. The only thing that can be said for this film is production design. The production design is really nice. The costumes are really nice. Every joke that happens in this film happens basically within the first 45 seconds of the film. So, for example, Barbie turns on the water and there's no water. Ooh, because, like in Barbie house, there's no actual water. Do you get it? And then she drinks, but there's no actual liquid in the actual cup. Oh my God, because she's a Barbie doll. Oh, I get it. Okay, that's all the jokes. There are no more jokes for the rest of the film. The movie's a shit show. So why is it getting 91% on Rotten Tomatoes? Because the way that it works for the reviewers is if you have the right politics, and those politics are sufficiently slyly inserted, then it will get a 91% on Rotten Tomatoes, even if the thing is just dreck. And I mean, boy, is this dreck. This is a Death Star-sized piece of dreck. It is like, that's no moon. That's a dreck station. That this movie. Okay, so let's jump into it. I have like pages and pages of notes on this horrific piece of
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
We're okay?
We're good for now.
For now?
Yeah.
We talked about doing a clean show today. Fuck that, dude. I'm done pissed at this point because of tech delays and problems with microphones and everything else.
Well, I'm in a good mood. I can go clean. You be dirty. I'll go clean.
Yeah, that's fine. We're trying to sell this show. I'm not sure this one's going to be the one to sell. So much to get into today, considering I went and saw the Barbie movie, and Ben Shapiro did literally 45 minutes of bashing the hell out of that movie.
Okay.
Now, if you don't want to hear what I have to say about that movie or worried about a spoil alert or whatever, and you want to go see the movie, then don't listen to anything I'm about to say.
Are you really giving spoiler alerts for Barbie movie?
It's a shit show.
It's that bad, huh?
It was really, really bad. No, I shouldn't say that. It was good if you're a fan of Barbie and you want to see like some of the old Barbie stuff and you're into the little jokes about the camper Barbie and the Barbie dream house and Ken and Barbie not having penises and vaginas. It's pretty good in that way. It's a flashback to your old times of playing with Barbie dolls.
Right.
If you're a man, run, do not walk away from the movie theater. Don't go anywhere near it. There will be most likely a woman ticket taker at the theater ready to chop off your dick as you're walking into the Cinemark, because it is take away your man card, stomp on it. Every man in the world is a pig, disgusting human being in charge of everything, and women have been tied down to the bed and made to cook for the past 100 years.
Oh, okay.
Literally, we left the theater.
Yeah.
And after that, from that point forward, I have sat down to pee every time I've gone to the restroom because I was emasculated and told that because I'm a man, I'm just a dick.
Sounds like somebody else is back hosting this show.
I mean, it really, really does just stick it to the man. Now, I'm guessing that I would get banned if I play a clip from the movie.
Who's going to ban you? YouTube? So what?
I got to see if I still have this up here, because I know that I downloaded one, but I don't know where it went. I don't know. I don't see it. But there's a clip where one of the main characters, who has a daughter, by the way, just decides that she's going to go off on men and say how men have been in charge and keeping women down and for years upon years. And oh, by the way, she's married.
Oh, that's
and they show her husband, who they play off to be an idiot. And it was just a male bashing movie from start to finish. And then, again, if you plan on seeing this, I apologize. But Ken has a crush on Barbie, is in love with Barbie. And she shits all over him the entire movie.
Well, that sounds about right.
It does sound about right.
It sounds terrible.
Well, they do have like pregnant Barbies and all kind of different Barbies. I mean, I recommend seeing it if you're a woman, because you will get a kick out of the Barbies, and there's some nice touching, I guess, mother-daughter moments, which I did find kind of entertaining and kind of nice and sweet, especially because I saw it with my family. My daughter and my wife were crying, and they had enjoyed it. But if you're a man, slice off your balls, put them in your wife's purse, and realize that you are less of a human being than you thought you were before you went to go see this movie.
Was Oppenheimer sold out that you couldn't just slide yourself over there?
I plan on seeing that movie. I want to see that pretty bad, actually. It looks really good, but that's a 3-hour thing. But I'm going to have to check out. This, though, we got to the movie early.
Okay.
If you check out my Facebook page, you can see a picture of me inside of a Barbie box. I sent you a picture of it, Chris. I texted it to you.
Oh, well, let me see if I can't get that on the screen immediately. Hold, please. Well, go ahead and talk. I'll find it.
And so, I sat there and I wanted to give it every chance in the world because I like toys. I'm a big toy fan.
Okay.
And growing up, I wasn't immune to seeing Barbie dolls from friends or girls that I knew or family members that I knew, and even my wife. When I met her, she had a case full of old Barbie dolls. Some of them in splits and with the haircut, like one of the Barbies in the movie. I mean, it was some of the ideas behind the movie are really, really good.
Okay.
But the rest of it is just making you feel as a man like you're an ass. There I am.
And taking your picture in the Barbie box didn't make you feel like you were an ass?
Well, I do everything for the love of the job, Chris. And so, I thought that maybe taking a picture of me in a Barbie box might get more hits on social media. It did not, oh, by the way. So it was just, okay, Sound of Freedom. Yes, I want to see Sound of Freedom. Yeah, but I went to see a movie that was supposed to be fun.
Well, you went to see a movie with your kid.
Yeah, not about child sex trafficking and exploitation. I wanted to see a movie that I thought was going to be entertaining.
Right.
It was not. Well, it was if you have a vagina, I guess. It was fine. If you think that men are the scum of the earth, then it's okay. One, they market it towards children.
Okay.
And there is some language and stuff in there that is inappropriate for I guess, younger children.
Right.
And my dad, and I would like to thank him for pointing this out to me, he as well saw the movie, pointed out that, in the movie, they make, again, the board of Mattel be all men who designed the Barbies, came up with the Barbies, blah, 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 blah. Everybody's a male.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, the board of Mattel is like 6 men, 5 women. They don't show that in the movie.
No. Why would they?
They don't show women being in power in a movie other than the Barbies in Barbie Land. And in Barbie Land, the Supreme Court is all women. In real life, there happens to be women on the Supreme Court.
Did they happen to, while they were bashing all the men that were on the board of Mattel, did they happen to mention the fact that those same men made Barbie, which ultimately made the money for this movie and the interest?
Apparently, there was a woman creator of Barbie, which is
okay.
Funny, who was played by Rhea Perlman from Cheers. Remember her?
Okay, yeah, I know who it is.
It was fine, and again, the movie was a little bit crazy, got a little bit weird at times, but it just, to me. When I walked out of there, the first thing I did was say, I want my money back. I just spent 2 hours being insulted because I happen to be a man. Look, and I may have started this show off as being crude with the language and that kind of thing, but men are not all just disgusting pigs. Men do have some feelings and emotions. And to be sitting there for 2 hours and just be insulted because you're a man, one, is a bad message to send to little kids.
Right.
When you're sending that kind of message to little girls, it's no wonder that everybody now is gay. Because you're sending a message that being masculine and being a man is bad. It's wrong. That little girls and women should stand up to the evil man. And it's disgusting. And it's a bad message to send to little girls. It's a bad message to send to kids, period. We were there and there was a mom and her little boy. Little boy must have been 8 years old. That little boy is going to sit through 2 hours, or did sit through 2 hours, of being told because he's a boy that he's going to grow up to be a disgusting pig man that women should just denounce and not pay attention to. That all men are created horribly, that all men are in charge of everything, that now they say it's gotten better, but they're hiding it better, how men are in charge still to this day, and women have nothing. It was a bad message to send to kids. It was terrible.
Well, you're not selling me to go see it, that's for sure. I have no interest in seeing it anyway. I mean, dude.
Joe Burdick says he's not gay, except for when he took that fantastic picture of me, Joe. Appreciate that. I'm kidding. He took that picture down. He was a good friend.
Well, he could be straight and just a bad photographer. We'll go with that.
Essentially get a field trip together to go see Sound of Freedom. Look, I want to see Sound of Freedom, and that would be a great idea. I think Sound of Freedom looks like a great movie, and it should be seen by a lot of people.
And you get free tickets too, can't you? Like, there's like some website that you can go to that people are paying it forward and buying tickets that you can get them for free.
I don't know.
I think there is.
Was Ken and Barbie's genitalia interchangeable? It was never interchangeable. They just had none.
Yeah. What is this, Mr. Potato Head?
And they do make reference to that in the movie.
So the Barbie movie talks about vag and balls.
Well, yeah. I mean, they walk up to construction workers who are, of course, men, because Barbie goes into real world and leaves Barbie land where all the women are in charge and goes to real world and has to see how piggish men are. So, of course, she walks up to men who are construction workers and they are catcalling her and saying, "Hey, babe," and all that kind of stuff. And she goes, "Oh, by the way, we have no penis, and he has no, she has no penis, I have no vagina," whatever. And they walk away. And oh, by the way, as they're bashing the hell out of men for being horrible, disgusting pigs, all Barbie wears throughout the entire movie are are skin-tight clothes showing her ass, or a skirt that's cut up all the way close to what would have been her vagina if she had one. And that's, I guess, a good message for girls. To dress like a whore is okay, but then when men respond to that, is not.
Well, yeah, you're not supposed to respond. That's the whole thing. They can do whatever they want, but you can't react normally to it.
I will say the one great part about the movie, because it was fantastic in one way. Margot, is that her name?
Margot Robbie, yeah.
Margot Robbie is fantastic to look at.
Yeah, she's
so if nothing else, for 2 hours, I was engaged by that.
Although she was telling you were a piece of shit for 2 hours.
And now I feel like a piece of shit for saying that, she's super hot.
Yeah, I don't know. I saw that this thing was coming, and I was just... Honestly, all week, I kept seeing commercials for this thing, and I was like, who's going to this thing? Then when I saw the numbers, I was like, are you kidding me?
Everybody apparently is going to see this movie. And like I said, to a certain demographic, I guess it is appealing. When I walked in, because we had to go see the 8:55 showing. I didn't even know they had movies at 8:55 in the morning, but they did for this.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
So we went to the 8:55 showing, and I walking in, and it was only us until that other mom and her son showed up, but they went to a 9 o'clock movie. So we were the only people in the theater.
Okay.
They're selling a lot of tickets, but they have 8 million showings a day.
Right.
But I said to the guy as I was walking in, I was like, "Yeah, I guess I'm here to see Barbie." And he goes,
pointed and laughed at you.
Well, he kind of did. And he goes, "We've been hearing a lot about that from men throughout this entire weekend." I was like, "Oh my." And afterwards, dear God, I wish you would have seen me afterwards.
Yeah, you were probably wrecked after you probably just felt defeated as a man.
I did. I felt like my daughter and wife were looking at me like, this guy is the biggest ass in the world because he's a man.
Yeah. Why are you here with us?
I kept apologizing on our way to get lunch. I said, "I'm sorry for my maleness." Like my wife, she missed the turn to go to where we were going to eat.
Yeah.
And I said, "Honey, you missed the turn. Now it's going to take us an extra 20 minutes because this road over here is all construction." And I said, "Wait, I'm sorry, that's my maleness coming out. And I have to apologize for my masculinity getting in the way of where we're going to eat, because I feel like a jerk for mentioning the fact that you missed the turn and the other street is construction. I apologize."
I hope she smacked you and told you to stop being a bitch.
No, I think she was quite thankful that I checked my masculinity at the door to the car.
God, yuck.
And then my daughter tried to hold the door open for me.
Yeah.
And my first instinct was to hold the door open for her.
Mm-hmm.
And then I said, no, that would be too masculine and putting her down for being a woman, that she has to go in front of me, and me being polite as a man holding the door for her is wrong. So I decided, F that, and I kicked my daughter out the way, and I went in before her, because we are all on even playing fields now, and I don't have to be a gentleman. Being a gentleman is outdated and horrible.
Yeah, according to this nonsense, hell yeah.
My wife recently went to an estate sale or whatever, and she bought a Good Housekeeping magazine from like 1956 or something like that.
Okay.
And in this magazine, all the women are wearing dresses and they're teaching women how to make recipes for certain things. And I hate to tell people, and she's like, oh, look how backwards this was. No, I hate to tell people that that's how families were. And you know what happened? They didn't have the youth of today stealing, robbing, breaking shit down, kicking people in the face just because they're a certain color, or just walking down the street and clocking somebody in the back of the head. What happened was you had a male who went to work, made a good living, because back then you could make a decent living on one income.
Sure.
The woman was at home, and it wasn't necessarily a slap in the face to be a woman at home. It was a woman at home who took care of other things that needed to be taken care of, including raising a child. So that way, the child had two parents, saw what it was like to be a responsible family, and that's how the kids grew up. Now today's society, oh, no. Everybody's all messed up. Everybody can do whatever the hell they want to do, and there is no family.
Right.
And the Barbie movie is another one of those examples. The family is out the damn window. Whatever.
That's just crazy. It's just nuts. Dude, it's the world we live in today. I hate to say that, but nothing you're saying sounds outside of the realm of what we're living with today. Nothing. It's just the way it is these days. It's horrible.
You have to check your maleness and your masculinity, sir. If that's what I'm allowed to call you.
You can call me that. I don't play fake games.
Barbie boobs, they're gender neutral. And that's the other thing.
Yeah.
You're going to bash men throughout 2 hours of a movie. Yet Ryan Gosling, who played one of the many Kens that they had, but played the main Ken, is sitting there with his shirt open the entire time with his ripped abs. And my wife and daughter are both like, hey, did you see Ryan Gosling with his ripped abs? He looked great throughout that movie. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Yeah. You're objectifying men the same way that Barbie's getting pissed that we objectify women.
Yeah.
So everything you're telling us not to do, you're doing after this movie. You're telling me, your husband and your dad, who's sitting right next to you, what great abs and how great he looked throughout 2 hours of that movie. While I'm sitting there watching this stupid thing, being told I'm ridiculous because I'm a man.
Yeah, and God forbid you say, man, that Margot Robbie's got great tits. You might as well go to jail for that one.
Yeah, we're not selling this show, but we're going to sell another one. That I promise you.
We'll try again on Wednesday.
Yes, Wednesday's the whole new show. Once the economy saw that women wanted to work, prices went up because they thought families had more money. That's how we became two-income families and lost the ability to have mom at home.
That's not.
I don't understand what's wrong with having mom at home. You can work if that's what you want to do. It's fine. But the ideal situation, and forget about mom at home, one parent at home.
Yeah. Yeah, either one is fine. But
look, if my wife made enough money for me to be a stay-at-home dad and take care of our daughter, my daughter wouldn't be messed up. No, I'm kidding. My daughter's actually pretty good for considering the situation that kids are in today. But a lot of kids, as long as there is a parent at home taking care of the responsibilities that need to be taken care of at home and also help raise a child, I think that's okay.
Yeah, I agree.
But the nuclear family is what's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Tripp talked about it all the time. It is what it is. That's the reality of the situation. Let me play this video for you.
Okay.
Let me play another raging lunatic. Here we go.
Women in this country still make 77 cents on the dollar for what men make. So if women don't make less than men?
Actually, if you start looking at the numbers, Rachel, there are lots of reasons for that.
Oh, wait. Well, don't tell me the reasons are. Do women make less than men for doing the same work?
No, because...
Wow.
Well, for example, men work an average of 44 hours a week. Women work 41 hours a week. Men go into professions like engineering, science, and math that earn more. Women want more flexible
professions. Listen, this is not a math is hard.
No. Yes, it is, actually.
No, it isn't.
Well,
listen.
All right, let Rachel frame it, though, the way you
right now,
laid it out.
women are making 77 cents on the dollar for what men are making.
But that's not true. If so,
let Rachel make her point.
Every greedy businessman in America would hire only women, save 25%. And I love how passionate you are. I wish you were as right about what you're saying as you are passionate about it. I really do. For example, may I share one fact with you? When you look at, for example, single women working in America today between the ages of, I think, 40 and 64, who makes more, men or women, on average? Men make $40,000 a year. Women make 47. When you take out the marriage factor, look at some economics. My point here is that we're manufacturing a political crisis.
I'm guessing that the makers of Barbie didn't look at those stats, that if it wasn't for the fact that marriage and some women decide that they want to stay home and raise a family, it wasn't for the fact that there are women at home. Women do, especially during the peak job earning years, make more money than men do.
I do like in that clip that you just played, that cuck guy saying, "Oh, no, you shut up and let her make her point."
Yeah.
He said that several times. Like, "Oh, no, you need to be quiet so that she can sound right."
I'm just kind of tired of this, whole thing where men now all of a sudden suck, especially straight men. Straight white men are the target of bashing now, and I don't understand why. I guess we're the devil now.
Well, because we've predominantly been the most successful. That's why. It's jealousy. That's all it is. It's just jealousy. You don't think that?
I mean, I don't know if it's that or not. I mean, I think it's a misconception. I think it's a misconception of what is actually going on in society.
Well, society's a mess.
It's like everybody's saying that Jason Aldean was racist with this song. There's nothing in the song that lends it to be racist.
Nothing at all.
Nothing. And I have seen TikTok video after TikTok video after video of black men and women and saying, what the hell is going on? What is wrong with this song? There's nothing wrong. It's society portraying some sort of an image to try to pretend to keep people down and angry, so that way we have a division in this country.
Mm-hmm.
And so that way we separate the white and the black. We separate men and women. And so that way, for political gain, whatever their ultimate goal is, that's what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
Is to separate.
This is why you just have to turn off the television. You can't, or at least turn off the news. You can't watch it because it's all just designed. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. All of it is just designed to take an opposing stance against the other side, no matter who it is.
As a retired postal worker, we made the same as men. Nice federal benefit, and yes, the union.
Mm-hmm.
And we lost mom at home. That's when kids and families went down the tubes. It's true.
Yeah. But I mean, dude, all of it right now is just down the tube. This is like when we talked about last week about you asked about what can we do to fix it? Nothing. There's nothing to what would you do? You went to see an entertainment movie and they did nothing but beat you for 2 hours about what a piece of shit you are.
It literally beat me down. I mean, I felt like garbage after I left.
And that was in an entertainment realm. That was in the realm that is specifically designed for you to act like a parent in a nuclear family. You acted like a parent in a nuclear family, and they did what to you for it? Told you for 2 straight hours that you were a piece of garbage, and told your daughter and your wife, what are you doing with this piece of garbage? Exactly. Girl power. Do it on your own. You don't need this piece of shit.
Yeah. Or having 2 parents in a home. You really need 2 parents in a home anymore. You do. You always needed it, but it's become a fad to not have that. But yeah, I mean, I wish I could find the damn clip. I think I got rid of it. But one of the clips in the movies is one of the main characters is going off about how terrible men are. That's it. That's all it is literally. And then they use her idea of telling everybody how bad men are to encourage the other Barbies to go tell everybody how bad men are. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life. It really was. It was the most insane thing. The way to get everything back to normal in Barbie land is to tell the other Barbies how shitty men are. I advise every man to not waste your $10 or $20 or whatever it's going to cost you to go to the movies. You don't want to go.
Yeah, it's.
And I encourage women who actually have values and respect the fact that, men, especially ones that you marry, are your partners in life, and you don't need to have them bash for 2 hours.
And you certainly don't want to take part in that because it'll be a losing proposition for both of you, the guy and the girl.
You're going to take your children, your little boy who's going to go see that movie like this woman did today, who's going to be sitting there confused going, why are they saying that all men are bad? That's what that little 8-year-old that I saw today who was with his mom and asked us to take a picture of them in a Barbie box is going to be saying. One, he's 8 years old and he's a boy. Maybe he shouldn't be in a Barbie box, but I was, so it's not that big of a deal. But he is going to be so confused as to why men suck.
I just pulled up, I looked up, and I can't find the clip either on YouTube. But all I looked up was Barbie character talks about how bad men are. Every video is talking about.
I was going to say every video should be.
Every single video is about how bad this movie is for dudes, woke agenda, greatest lie ever told. Let's see. Barbie is nuclear level feminist nonsense that hates men and pushes gender ideologies onto children. Hardcore propaganda Barbie movie. Exoriates in film critics' warning to parents. Why your kids should not watch Barbie. Barbie confronts heteronormative gender roles, says the co-star. Calls the film submersive. That's from the co-star. Barbie movie about problematic gender roles. Just on and on and on.
I'm trying to see if I can find it because, I mean, it really does show you what this movie is about. I mean, I can't believe I had it just before the show. And then we had all kind of tech problems and I deleted it.
Yeah, it sounds like a movie I won't.
So I just got yelled at.
Oh, that's not it.
No,
that's another idiot.
Yeah,
that's another idiot.
Got to get into that one at some point.
That is another kook.
Problem is, I have like 7 videos that I downloaded for today, so I know it'll be the 7th that I find.
Of course,
but it was. I think it really does hurt. No, that's not it.
This is a letter that many of you signed.
That's another one of these crazy people. It does hurt the perception of men towards little girls.
Well, look, as we've always said, both on the show and just talking in general, you got to do your best to raise your kid. And that's all you can do is raise your kid. You can't worry about everybody else. You can't be upset, and you can't kowtow to when somebody says anything to you. If somebody says something to you, oh, you can't say that. You're homophobic. You're a bigot. That's when you just got to both middle fingers them. Fuck you and move on. You can't kowtow anymore, dude. The biggest problem that
always stand.
Is that it?
The problem that I have is that you're teaching children that this is the way it's supposed to be, or the way that it is.
True.
And that's a big problem. All right,
yeah, I get it, but at some point we have to stand up and fight back.
I know we got our guest coming up here shortly. So
yeah, I mean, but don't you think? I mean, that's one of the biggest reasons that this has been allowed.
Who is going to do it? You realize I had Mike Jasulka send me a video. Bipartisan governors challenge Americans to disagree better over politics.
He sent me that too.
Get the hell out of here.
Well, Mike would know.
He's still pushing an agenda that's never going to happen.
Yeah.
All right, let's play this.
But always stand out and always be grateful. But never forget that the system is rigged. So find a way to acknowledge that, but also always be grateful. You have to never get old. Never be rude, never show off, never be selfish, never fall down, never fail, never show fear, never get out of line. It's too hard, it's too contradictory, and nobody gives you a medal or says thank you. And it turns out, in fact, that not only are you doing everything wrong, but also everything is your fault. I'm just so tired of watching myself and every single other woman tie herself into knots so that people will like us. And if all of that is also true for a doll, just representing a woman,
Yeah. It's lunacy.
And that's just 45 seconds of what the entire movie was about.
Yeah, it's lunacy. But and I mean, picking apart a scene like that is so easy because of all the things that she portrayed as a negative there. Which of those things can a guy get away with?
Oh,
none.
I said that when we walked out. I said, if this was reversed, if this was a G.I. Joe movie that bashed the hell out of women for 2 hours, it never would have made it to the screen.
No, of course not. Of course not. There's a weird line between, and now I'm going to come off like a bigot, but I don't care. There's that weird line where women want everything, but want everything their way. The lie is that women just want equality. That is the lie, because they don't want equality. What they want is you to behave to their standard, not for you to be you and them to be them and you to treat them like them. Perfect example, and I'm about to say a word that you ladies don't like, so if you ladies are any bit offended, turn off your computer for a minute. But if you call a woman a cunt,
wow, dude.
If you call a woman a cunt, she will lose her goddamn mind like you killed her sister. True or not true?
Yes.
What word do men let affect them that way? None. There's nothing you can call a guy where a guy will be like ready to lose their shit. But when we're at war with our guy friends, when you've had like true fights, not just oh man, you're an idiot, but like true fights with your close friends, you'll call them some names, right?
Oh yeah. None of it would go over the edge though.
Yeah, and that's the difference. Women do not want you to behave the way you do as a man. As a man, you would be like, you stupid asshole, you know, you're just a whatever, you know, we'll call each other whatever name we'll call each other. If you do the same thing to a woman, somehow you've broken the law. They want you to behave to their standard, not to be equal. And that is the problem.
You're right. My dad is right on it. So all the men in the movie are portrayed as lewd and crude. As I told someone today, if they made a Ken movie and portrayed all the women as sluts, women would be rightly angry. Right, exactly. But it's a complete double standard on this. They really did bash the hell out of men and make men look like my daughter should never get married to a man, find the next woman and marry her. Because that's the way that they portrayed men in this movie. Mm-hmm. And I don't think it was right. And forget about us being rude and crude and all this during the show. The way that they portrayed men in this, all men, not just some men. That woman that you just heard ranting about women being all this and that was married, and they made that guy look like an idiot.
Sure. But that's not really uncommon these days, dude. That's been going on for a decade. Did you watch Orange is the New Black?
I did not.
Okay, well, Orange, you know the premise of it. It's a bunch of women in prison.
Yeah.
That's the basic premise to it. Well, even though all these women were in prison, they were the quote-unquote good guys. And you know who were the stupid idiots that could do nothing right? All of the guards. All of the guards and the warden were absolute moronic pieces of shit.
Yeah.
Even though all the women were there for crimes.
Yeah.
That was the portrayal. That is the portrayal these days.
Satan is the father of lies. Flat Earth guy, I need to talk to you because I talked to a pastor last night at my other job, and I told him that I know a minister who is a very good man who says that the earth is flat and has all the biblical proof known to man, and he laughed at me. So we may have to arrange some sort of a meeting there. What was I going to say? What if they portray Barbie as a Leah? Oh, by the way, there is an obvious transgender Barbie in this movie as well.
Oh, well, that's good. Because we need that, too.
In my opinion. Even my wife said that. So.
Well, don't we have to have that, don't we? That's part of the game now.
The whole thing is absolutely absurd. Everything is ridiculous. I don't understand why, men and women are created different. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but men and women are different. Men are typically a little bit more, type A or whatever you want to call them,
have
a bigger personality than most women. Some women definitely have that, but men and women are different creatures. They have different setup, different makeup, everything. Everything is different about men and women, other than the fact that we're humans. People are different.
That's right.
I'm sorry that you don't like us men now. I apologize. I will check my masculinity on Sunday morning at Goldie's to Sandy and everybody. I will tuck myself as I walk into the restaurant to make sure that I'm not, protruding any sort of masculinity as I walk in.
Yeah, you can't do that. You can't show any of that. It's too funny.
If they don't have vaginas and penis, how can you be transgender? LOL. What a shit show of a movie. You have no idea. Now, again, you may go and may enjoy it. I don't know. Maybe you'll like it. If you're a fan of Barbies growing up, I guess you probably like it. Again, I enjoyed some of the references to Barbie, but I wasn't having any of the.
And I mean, here's my question to you: what did your daughter take out of it?
My daughter was actually in tears when she walked out of the movie.
Tears of joy, tears of pain.
Tears of joy.
So she enjoyed it to no end.
She did, and she enjoyed it not only because of the Barbie stuff, but because of there were some emotional scenes of, mother-daughter bonding and that kind of thing, which I think is great. I'm not taking anything away from the movie in that regard. That's fine. I encourage my daughter and my wife to have bonding time and that kind of thing, and that's great. That part of the movie was really nice. But the other 1 hour and 57 minutes of the movie, of the 2 hours, was just bashing men all over the place.
Well, I don't know. I don't know why you were willing to give away $50 of money to go see this thing, but
I don't know. Your boy Chad was saying, "What are you talking about? $10? Where are you going to see movies?"
Yeah,
it was $8.75 a ticket when we went this morning.
$8.75, wow.
Which is pretty cheap to see a movie.
That is pretty cheap.
And it was in Cinemark. It wasn't like it was, that's cheap ass theater.
Of course, you were there at 8 a.m. too. Maybe that has something to do with it. The only other movies you can see are peep shows, for God's sakes, at 8 a.m. The kids won't lick up on the male bashing. Yeah, they will. My daughter's pickup. There we go. My daughter is 16 years old, and she picked up on the male bashing. She knew that she walked out of there, and after 10 minutes of me going off on what I thought about the movie, her response was, "I knew you were going to act like this." Yeah, well, I mean, did she?
What did you think I was going to act like?
What did she think is, I mean, did you talk to her about the messaging after and say, you realize why this is so effed up?
Of course I did.
And what did she say about, what was her argument back?
There was no argument back. She understood why I would feel like that. My wife said, look, I understand why you would feel the way that you do, because it was that obvious what they were doing. It wasn't even like subtle male bashing. It was just letting you know that men suck. That men think that they rule the world, and men actually do rule the world. Women are subservient, and they made it just horrific like that.
Yeah,
I wish I ruled my household the way that that men do.
Right.
I mean, Ken's at one point take over the Barbie land, and the women are subservient. One is rubbing Ken's feet, and one of the other Barbies dresses up like a French maid and is walking around. And all this. I wish that's the way it was around here.
Right.
It certainly is not. I rule nothing around my home. In fact, I fail sometimes, but I try to treat my the women in my home as queens.
That's right.
All right, very frustrating. Let's change the subject. We got to get to our guests. I want to take a quick break, though, all right?
All right, let's play a quick break, and then Bobby from Saliva will be with us.
Sounds good. Hang on.
It is time to save America and stop funding woke corporations. Shop with merchants that share your values today. Get all the great products you buy online anyway from Mammoth Nation. Visit the online store today at us.cmspn.com and save money while helping to fend off enemies of our way of life. We can't expect change until we make changes ourselves. Shop Mammoth Nation today.
Are you looking for a way to support the Seth Williams Show? Get your Seth Williams Show merchandise today. From coffee mugs to clothing and everything in between, our high-quality merch is the perfect way for you to not only support the show, but show everyone what is the greatest show going today. Just go to shop.thesethwilliamsshow.com now, shop around, and buy some great merchandise from the Seth Williams Show. Shop today.
Hey, it's Seth, and I appreciate you watching today. And you can make a difference. For just $4.99 a month, you can help save someone's life today. It really does count. Every dollar matters. And you can change someone's life. Not these ridiculous dogs. Those are actor dogs. I'm talking about myself and Chris Aiken. I can barely afford a shave and a haircut, or sleeves on a shirt sometimes. We could use your assistance today. Just go to the Odyssey app. Go to the Odyssey website, ODYSEE. Just $4.99 a month can change the world for someone today. Myself and Chris Aiken. We'll give you extra content. We'll give you bonus footage. We'll give you new episodes. Subscribe to the Odyssey channel today. Thank you.
Hey everybody, it's Don Doc, and when I'm feeling nostalgic, I always go to Pinball PA. You gotta go check it out, it's a lot of fun.
Stop what you're doing and start making memories at Pinball PA, located at 2284 Broadhead Road, Suite 10B in Aliquippa, Pennsylvania. We have over 420 video games and pinball machines to play, and all games are set to free play, so no quarters or tokens are needed. Pinball PA is open 6 days a week, and is the best and most affordable entertainment spot in all of Western Pennsylvania. Check out our website at www.pinballpa.com for more details. Come visit Pinball PA today. Initials up.
Blonde hair, blue eyes, couldn't color your lies. You're so fucking black and white. Whisper to a scream, candy or the codeine. Try and get your story right. Are you high on the pills you take, or the crimes of our yesterdays? Are you high on the make-believe, or are you high on me? Are you high on me? Mother taught me, give her black coffee, see what spills from her mouth.
Stuff right there, man.
Yeah, it is.
Awesome. Let's welcome our guest to the show.
Look at this guy, Bobby Amaru. Hey, man.
Hey, man. How you doing?
Bobby, can you hear us? No, he cannot. Can't hear you, sir. Damn it. We do not hear you.
I can look at him all day and I'll be fine.
Well, he'll go out and come back.
I'm a big fan of the band.
Holy cow, we are just not having good tech this week.
The tech has been, it's not our fault on that one.
No, it's not. We'll see what happens. He'll come back.
I hope so. I was looking forward to that.
Yeah, well, he'll be back. They do have a new album called Revelation. It is out on September the 8th. And they're going out on tour with Drowning Pool and Adelita's Way, including a gig here in Cleveland on September 22nd. Let's try again.
All right, here we are.
There he is.
Hey, man.
It kept muting me for some reason. I don't know. It was like muting the mic, and I don't know.
Well, our first comment is, "Oh crap, he's cute." So I mean,
right.
Even if they could just look at you, I guess it'd be good. So we're all good.
Well, you kind of have the Barbie behind you, man. So I mean,
I went and saw a piece of junk movie today. So that was, what we were talking about before you came on.
I'm supposed to take my daughter and to see it.
Okay, well, I made that mistake today. And so let me just tell you right now, I'm not going to try to be a spoiler alert or nothing like that. You got to go see the movie. You got to take your kid because that's what I did. But being a man, prepare yourself. Don't listen to the movie. Just watch Margot Robbie for 2 hours. Enjoy that. Other than that, don't listen to it because you're going to walk out of there. And from that point forward, you're going to sit to pee the rest of the day. Because you're no longer going to be a man when you walk out of that movie.
I think I might just have her brother take her now.
There you go. It's good to have you on. Yeah. Welcome to the show. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Well, dude, obviously, man, busy time. New album, new tour, new stuff going on, man. Why don't you catch everybody up with what's going on in the world of Saliva?
Yeah, it's been the record, it's finally dropping September 8th. We started working on the record in 2020.
Right.
And because the idea was to put out a record at the end of 2020. And then, all the pandemic stuff kind of shut everything down. So we just kept putting it off. And then 2021, we felt like we were making up for 2020. And then 2022, we're making up for 2021. And it's like, man, we got to put this thing out. So, because we haven't put out a record, original stuff and since 20.
Damn it.
It's been a minute.
Right.
So actually being able to get the record done, finally get a release date. But, unfortunately, in March when Wayne passed away, it was very sudden. We weren't expecting it. I mean, I don't think you can never expect that kind of stuff. But like the original release date was supposed to be in July, but I wanted to like push it back and redo the artwork and stuff too. So.
Right. Well, dude, talk a little bit about that, man. That's obviously having Wayne pass away, on tour, no less. That creates a lot of headspace stuff for anybody. Not only, well, I mean, the obvious is the friendship. You lose a friend, but then there's the business side of it too. You look to your right anymore. Now there's not that guy there anymore, and there's a whole different perception of looking at the band and the music that you make, and everything changes on the rare occasion. And it is a rare occasion that happens. How did you guys get through all of that stuff aside from the obvious loss of a friend?
I think with us doing this, I don't know if it's something you ever get through or over, especially like, how the whole thing happened. Like, I'm the one that found him, in the back lounge and stuff, like the way it all like kind of went down, and we thought he was going to be okay. And then, the doctor said otherwise, and we were like, oh, wow. Okay. So then, you're not really thinking about music or anything else at that point. You're just thinking about, him and his well-being. And you want your friend, your brother, your guy that I've been in a band with 12 years, who I looked up to like a big brother, it's about that. It's more about that. I start thinking about his family and start thinking about his daughter. And, I was the last thing to think. I was, Saliva was the last thing on my mind. But then the other side of Wayne, if you knew Wayne, Wayne's the kind of guy, we were 4 shows into the tour. I think there was like 25 dates on that tour.
Right.
It's like, that the Wayne Sweeney that I know would be pissed that we were going home. He would be mad, but at that moment there was nothing we could do. We had to, go and do his memorial and celebration and try to figure out what's next, day by day. And, we talked with Megaforce and the label, and just tried to. They've been great with us, and management, everyone's been great and supportive, and they're like, honestly, you and Wayne spent 3 years making this record. People, so it's like, yeah, I think we need to definitely put it out. He was proud of it, like, he recorded it all right in here in this room. All the guitars and stuff were done right here, and he'd come to Jacksonville, and spend like a week. We'd probably spend 2 days on guitars. The other 5 days, he'd be like, "Oh man, I'm tired. Oh man, my stomach hurts," or whatever stuff. But we made it do, man. And he knocked stuff out. He was quick. He was a pro, man. He was a pro. And guitar players like him, you can't. It's hard to find him. Very, very hard to find him. And a lot of people didn't realize, he was older. He's 59. He was 59. And I say that because it's like, I mean, he lived it all. He lived in the 80s, man. He did that whole thing. And remember when I first got in the band, like, and Paul, the former drummer was like, "You were born in '83?" I'm like, "Yeah, I was born in '83." He's like, "Bro, Wayne was on his first world tour in '83." Like, so just that kind of stuff, man. But right now we're just trying to, just honor, his legacy and this whole tour that we're doing. And I'm constantly brainstorming and thinking about how we can incorporate things that, are about him. And we miss him every day, man. We miss him every day. And it's one of those things. And, I miss our conversations, our talks. We'd talk for hours, man, hours on the phone. And, he'd call me about advice, and, my wife helped him tremendously, got him to a 780 credit score, something that he never had in his life, stuff like that. And like, we loved him, everybody did. And everybody at his celebration, like that's really where you knew, man, people that went way back with him, and all the outpour, the love and support we got from other bands and everybody. I mean, that's, that he was the real deal. People knew that. So,
I want to say I'm sorry for your loss, and it has to be tough. It's everybody's loss who loves the music, because I've been a fan for a very long time. So, I am sorry for your loss, though. What's it like joining a band? You joined in 2011?
Yeah.
What's it like joining a band that's pretty much established, and is it a tough role to take over when Josie Scott left with some Christian solo thing, right? And what's it like taking over a pretty established band like that?
Well, there's a lot of pressure, that's for sure. I was up for the challenge. I had known of them, when they came out, and my band at the time in 2001, we made a record with Bob Marlette, who produced several of their records too, and he did the first Every 6 Seconds record. And so we'd cross paths and stuff, and I knew, I've been in like other bands and toured and done stuff, but not at that level. And especially, I come from, being a drummer and songwriter and playing guitar and stuff, but to jump into a lead singer role, I don't think you're ever really prepared for something like that. It's just, let's see what happens.
You rock it though, man. I have to give you credit.
That's how I looked at it.
You do rock it.
Yeah.
You killed it.
I've worked my ass off.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Yeah. I have worked my ass off, man. Like I paid a lot of dues. I really did, and done a lot of shit, from TV, film music to, producing artists and, songwriting, but, being in the room with, A-list artists and stuff. And, but one thing I never really got to do was that whole touring thing that you dream of when you're a kid. Then when you get into a band like Saliva and you go to do a tour and you're like, when does this shit end? Because you realize it's like, man, it's not what, it's all, talked up to be. And it's a lot of grinding. It's not as easy as you think, when you go out and you join a band like that. You have fans, you have people that are going to hate you. Just, they haven't even heard you and they're going to hate you. You have people that are going to, be open arms. You got people that are kind of on the fence, and those have always been the great ones when people will come up to me and say, man, you know, I wasn't too sure about this, but you won me over, or those are great. You know, it just really anything positive. I always try to meet everybody, and especially like lately I've been going out to merch, like right after we're done, I'll tell people, you know, and some of these shows have been like big ones, like Summerfest and stuff. I was out there for 3 fucking hours.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But I don't care. I'll sit out there for 5 hours if that's what it takes to shake hands and, you know, meet people and tell people that I'm grateful, you know, and that Wayne was super grateful too, you know, for everybody, and, you know, supporting the brand and supporting rock and roll. And, you know, this band's been around a long time, and
See,
there's different versions. There's you know, it is what it is. It's just, you know, we're trying to do the right thing by him, and, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And you're talking to a guy here who was in rock radio for, 15 years, and I played Saliva songs, every hit known to man, 5,000 times a day.
Yeah.
And, I fell in love with the music. And so, me seeing you, I think you picked up right where they left off, if not better. And so I think it's really cool. I mean, I really do. I think it's good what you're doing. I think the new music sounds fantastic, and I'm digging it. So that's awesome.
I appreciate that, man. You know, I learned a lot, like from when I first got in the band to now. It's like, it's definitely a big difference, but that's that whole thing. You get into something new and it's fresh, and you figure out what works and what doesn't. And then you just, good thing for me, I'm not afraid of the stage, and I like to be on stage. I like to entertain, and I feel like that's where I belong. And that's why I strive on every night, man. I got to go out there and I got to kick them right, where it is, or you're going to end up, people are going to be like, I don't fucking like it, or whatever. I always feel like I still have something to prove. And I think that's the way it should be, man, in rock and roll. People are supporting you and buying your records and buying your shirts and coming to your shows. You go out there and you give them a show, man. That's why I like guys like, Jacoby, and, the guys like Fred Durst, and people like that are always engaging with the crowd and keeping them, excited and entertained. That's what it's all about.
Right.
David Lee Roth, man, come on.
Right. I think the rule is, man, you're either hungry or lazy. And if you're not one, you're the other. And no one likes the lazy. Everybody likes, it's easy to like a band when you know they're still trying. It's awfully hard when you see them going through the motions.
Yeah. And who's a perfect example? Look at Metallica, dude.
Yeah.
When they're up on stage, they're giving it all they've got. They've given everything they have. And that says a lot. The biggest fucking rock band in the world. All these other bands that are like, oh, they're phoning it in and they don't want to be there, but they're making fucking awesome guarantees and stuff. Man, it's like, that's sad, because you got to be, grateful that I'm grateful that I'm able to do this and be able to reach people and meet people and play on stage for people who give a shit, man. I love that. And when you look at a band like Metallica, dude, they're having so much fun up there, and they're like still like giving people what they paid to see.
Right. No, you're 100% right, man. Well, dude, let's turn this toward the new record, Revelation. I'm going from the press release, so tell me that this is just completely wrong if it is. But
okay,
I read that you focused a lot of your writing this time on the struggles that you had getting sober. And, you not that you wrote a record about that, but you used that energy for that. My question is, are you comfortable sharing personal, tough emotions like that and being judged unfairly, kind of, where people are getting a 3-minute snippet instead of understanding a 5-year journey? Yeah.
So I've never been afraid to talk about it, with people, because I feel like if it can help somebody, man, the things that I went through might be different than what you've gone through or what other people got. That's just the way it is. We don't walk in each other's shoes. We don't. And,
right.
There's a lot of people that we wish that we could have helped that we didn't get a chance to. And everybody has a story. Everybody has their own story. And I've met other people that are, sober now and stuff too. And I am like, I always want to hear their stories and stuff, and they're always different, it's always challenging. It's always a challenge, because when you go through something like that, something you're used to doing all the time, to just not doing it anymore, and then you're like, oh wait, but I still have to go on stage and I still have to do this. It's like all these other things like take place, you know, and how you feel and your emotions and stuff. And you know, for me, like, it just got to a point where started noticing changes in my behavior, and I was more just unhappy upstairs and then things, and that got real scary for me, because it's something that I hadn't really experienced before, even though, you know, depression runs deep in my family, you know, and alcoholism and stuff like that. And I was like, I have to break the cycle. I have to break this, whatever it is. I don't want to just be, you know what I mean, doing the same stuff and repeating history. And you know, I had a lot of other things in place too, like, you know, with meeting my wife, and you know, and I had my kids, who at the time, you know, were younger, but you know, my son's 16 now, my daughter just turned 12, and then we got our baby with my wife, who's a little over a year. But at that time, you know, I even said to myself, I don't want something to happen to me and that's what they remember, you know, and that's what it, you know. And so I did a lot of like searching, you know, within myself, and tried to, and then I just fucking woke up one day and was like, that's it, I'm done. And that was it. And then I remember looking back and thinking, when was the last time I didn't have a drink? And it was like 4 years or something. And it was when I was sick and didn't, you know, or things like that. But I always had at least one drink, you know, every day or every night. And, you know, I felt like removing that could potentially put my life on a better path. And it absolutely did, 100%. Like, I wouldn't change it for anything. So.
I mean, that's amazing. And congratulations on that too, man. People are loving. You should see some of the texts that are coming in. They absolutely love what you're saying. One of the things I'm excited about is that you're actually going on tour, and you're not just doing the festivals. You're doing some of the festivals, but you're actually coming to Cleveland. You're playing a club here in Cleveland, a big club, but still a club. And that's the kind of stuff that I think is missing with rock today. I am so tired of going to festivals where there's 8,000 bands and I have to wait like 10 hours to see you guys. That's what I'm looking forward to. You guys are doing this tour, and you're coming to House of Blues here in Cleveland in September, which I'm psyched about. But is there a difference between doing all these festivals and just going on a legit tour around the country to some of these smaller clubs?
I mean, I like doing the smaller clubs. I really do, just because I feel like it's more personal with people, you know, and like engaging with people. It's just, I don't know. I like that. It always feels like less pressure anyways. When you go play the festival, you know, I like to, you know, engage and keep it like rocking and keep it upbeat. But you have so many people that are there for so many different bands anyways. So, you know, you might get this one section that are really into it. You might get this one section that are just like this, or, you know, whatever. But I think the cool thing about festivals, though, is you're able to, like, for a band like us, you're able to get in front of some new faces and fresh faces. And I'm always up for the challenge to try to win them over and stuff as well. And being around a lot of the other bands, and, you know, the festivals obviously feel more like, hell yeah, it's cool, you know. But it's almost like when you do the club stuff, you know, that's keeping you grounded and keeping you like humbled too, you know, like, because there's a lot of bands, they just fucking play festivals and they play arenas all the time. We don't get to do all that.
Right.
So when we do get to do the festivals, we take advantage of it, and it's almost like the cherry on top, you know what I mean? Like I guess you'd say, for us to, you know, just grateful that we're there, that we've been considered to be part of, you know, a day full of great bands or a weekend full of great bands.
Right. Well, and I know with this tour that you're getting ready to do now, the one that we're talking about, and you'll be here, Saliva will be here on September 22nd at the House of Blues with Drowning Pool and Adelita's Way. That's for anybody that's mid to late 90s music fan. That's like a Hall of Fame radio tour there with, it's just a great show. Talk a little bit about how that one came together. Did that come together as a management thing, or is that more this guy knew that guy knew this guy and you guys just kind of daisy chained a tour together, or what?
When I first got in the band, one of the shows I run was in somewhere in Texas.
Okay.
And this would have been 2012.
Okay. And
CJ came out from Drowning Pool. So I met him. He's probably one of the first guys I met from like another band being in Saliva, So and he and I always stayed in touch through the years. We did shows with them and stuff. And always remain in touch with them, and we're, just trying to figure out something to do. And, they're working on a record, we're dropping our record, and we're like, maybe we'll, let's do something, and it just lined up and it made total sense. And I love it because, getting the tour with those guys, I love those guys, Mike, all the, Ryan,
Sure.
So it's good for me, particularly, to be around people that I'm familiar with and that I know and that I respect, and I know that they're kind of like us when it comes to the grinding factor and going out, and what's it going to be? It's going to be 4 shows this week. Well, that's not enough. Let's play. We have 7 in a row one week, mind you. So I mean, that's the kind of I'm saying. It's like, we're not afraid of that shit, man. Let's do it.
Now, do you have a kinship with Ryan specifically as another guy that stepped in for a very high profile vocalist, and then out then back in? But I know you didn't do the constant switching, but that's a tough for any band. Not everybody has the Sammy Hagar effect. Everybody else, and even Sammy Hagar with the Van Halen thing, constant badgering for no real reason. And I know I see it for you sometimes, and I know I see it for Ryan sometimes. Now, I'm a huge fan of Soil, so I love Ryan. I'm a giant fan. And I think all of you guys that have stepped into bands and kept them going take unnecessary beatings. Sure, you get it at the beginning, and I get that. First year or two, I get that the old fans are like, no, it's not the same. But you, like, for you specifically, you've been in Saliva for what, 11, 12 years at this point. There's no more reason to talk about it. You're the guy. So, but you still take that beating. For you, do you guys talk about that? Like, do you and Ryan talk about, that kind of weird, never accepted, but just keep grinding thing that you guys do?
We did some shows. The last time I saw him would have been, maybe 2019.
Okay.
We did some shows with like a run with, maybe it was 2018. He was with Soil though.
Okay.
And they did some shows with us, and we were like doing shows with, I think, Puddle of Mud, and he and I, we hung out a little bit on the bus and stuff like that. But no, we never really talked about that. I maybe it's something that we don't think about though. I mean, I don't really, I always felt like it works or it doesn't, man. I mean, if I'm not, I can't live my life, I got to please this guy, or, I don't really, or please these people. Because I feel like there's so much out there. There's so much music and so much going on and other things going on. It's like, if you have to dwell on who's singing for Saliva, it's, I don't know, but I get it though, for people that are big fans and longtime fans, from the get-go, that's my, I get it. But things happen and people move on and people quit. When people quit and, things, then that means the brand or the band has an option. It's like, do we carry on or is that it? And in this case, and a lot of other cases, you find more and more these days, there's a lot more of the brand and the band wanting to continue on. And I think, social media helps a lot with that, because you're able to kind of engage more with your fan base and with people. Back in the 80s or 90s or whatever, I'd say it's probably way more difficult to replace a singer or whatever.
Sure.
Because the amount of fax machines you've got to use and the amount of other things and for press releases and new photo shoots and, all the other crazy stuff that happened then. And, it's like, hey man, we've had this guy 2 years. We're still not on MTV yet. What's going on?
Right.
But the mystique, I will say that with social media today, there's no mystique anymore. And rock. And I miss that. I think we're always going to miss that. But there's nothing we can do about it. I would love to fucking jump in the hot tub time machine and go back to 1987, dude. We all would.
Yeah.
And even the kids today would probably love to do that. And it was a much fucking better time.
Agree.
Hopefully people will buy your music instead of streaming it all over the place, because streaming is now ridiculous. Actually buy the album. And new album comes out, September, Chris, right?
September 8th.
It drops, and I'm looking forward to that.
Right.
Yeah, we got the vinyl. We got the limited edition vinyl that we're doing, which is really, really cool, man. We got this awesome piece of Wayne on the back of it and stuff, too. It's really, really cool.
Very cool, man. Well, dude, I figure maybe what we'll do is we'll wrap up by giving people a taste of the new single, Come Back Stronger. What can you tell us about this one?
Well, this one was one of the first ones for the record. This was kind of the blueprint of where we wanted to go. I remember playing Wayne some stuff in like 2019, just some ideas and some things. And he would say, I had played on like 3 different things. They had no vocals, had nothing.
Okay.
And he says whatever that is, that needs to be the first song on the record. And that's what that was. It was like just some ideas for it. Then he kind of influenced some things of how we could do this and do that and guitar parts and shit. But so I kind of ran with it. That was the first song to kind of go, okay, this is how the record could go. And it's about a guy. It could be about several things, but for me, in my, the way I look at it, it's about a guy who's, struggling to find his place, and with that, dealing with my alcoholism and stuff too, and knowing how to fight back and figure out a way to overcome, all of the challenges and stuff.
Right.
Was something that I felt like the title of the song, Come Back Stronger, it made a lot of sense. We almost called the record something like that, but it didn't pan out that way.
Right.
So.
Well, I'll tell you this before I play the song. If you see a fat guy with an I Hate Barbie t-shirt in the front row in Cleveland in September, that is me, because I'm going to be checking you guys out. I'm looking forward to seeing you. So.
Dude, I'd love to hang out with you guys, man. If you guys want to come down, hang with us, just let me know.
Absolutely.
Great. Love to. So appreciate you coming on tonight, man.
House of Blues have nice dressing rooms. So
they do.
They do. It's cool there. So
nice.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you coming on.
All right, man. Thanks.
All right, Bobby. Take care.
Bye.
What separates Triv's restaurant in Strongsville from everybody else? Some restaurants you go to eat the same thing over and over and over. But then there are restaurants like Triv's, where you want to go there every single time and eat something different until you have eaten every single item on the menu. Why? Because the food's delicious, and it has been for almost a quarter of a century. Trivs has amazing food, outstanding service, and an opportunity for you to have private dining, special events, and intimate occasions. You can enjoy a memorable fine dining experience in your own dedicated, intimate space. Visit Trivs in the heart of Strongsville. Call now for reservations, 440-238-8830. Trivs in Strongsville. Joe Burdick custom flags are amazing. Each flag is handcrafted to reflect the imperfect perfection, making each piece of patriotic wall art unique. This is a local small business, veteran-owned and proud. Joe Burdick creates symbolic artwork that is built to last. Display your spirit, pride, and patriotism by calling 440-305-2065 and let Joe's flag serve you. 440-305-2065. Joe Burdick Flags. Let me introduce you to Charlie's Auto Repair. Any car, any truck, any problem, Charlie's does it right. You know how it is. The check your engine light comes on, you put air in the tires, and the light is still on. 216-470-0170. That's Charlie's Auto Repair, 13728 Madison in Lakewood. Charlie can do it all, from small engine repair to fleet maintenance and system diagnostics. 216-470-0170. Charlie's Auto Repair. Let Charlie make your car great once again.
Back here at the Seth Williams Show with Chris Aiken, the CMS Network, CMS TV. Good stuff, man. I love that dude.
Yeah, he's great. Bobby's a good dude, man. I like him a lot.
Yeah, that was fun. I enjoyed talking to him and looking forward to that show. I think the other show is September 27th.
Is it 27th?
Yeah, the 22nd.
Okay.
According to their website, the 22nd are in Columbus.
I'm wrong.
With House of Blues.
Big shock. I'm wrong.
Yeah, it was good talking to him. That was fun. And we just played Charlie's Auto Repair. I'm going to be going to Charlie's Auto Repair in Lakewood. Yes, the shop is still open, even though he's fighting with the city. I'm going to be getting a new tire.
Okay. So that you can go to the Saliva show.
Yes. Actually, we're going to the Motown Museum sometime this week, I think.
Oh, very cool.
My daughter wants to see that, so we're going to check that out.
Nice. That's where, Detroit?
Yes.
Okay.
Been there once years ago, and it was very cool, but my daughter's way into that stuff, so we're going to check that out, I think, sometime this
cool.
week.
That'll be fun.
Also, I played Triv's restaurant commercial, have a meeting with Coach for Kids this week.
Ooh.
So looking forward to doing something.
I mean, something's going to happen for Coach for Kids even after the other station abandoned it like the turds that they are?
They dropped them. They're dicks, and so I am doing what I can, and with Debbie from Coach for Kids, we're going to try to make sure Triv's memory stays alive.
Very cool.
So I'll keep everybody informed on that, because I think that's cool, and it's definitely worth it.
Very cool, man. Wow, good stuff.
So a lot going on.
Hell yeah.
And I still hate Barbie. Let's see. Jones, he checks in. It's more and more difficult to find a movie or anything worth watching that doesn't have a libtard agenda and being pushed, either quite obvious or is the subplot or under the surface.
True. Although there still seems to be a bunch of it if you go to the pay channels. I mean, there's a lot of that stuff going on too, but stuff like on Stars or on Showtime and whatnot, they have some movies and some shows that are pretty non-wokish. I know I've been watching a bunch of stuff lately that's just I'm digging deeper into it and finding different shows and
nice.
and he's right though. There is like this just humongous woke agenda on everything. It's like, did you see? Like, do you know who Taylor Sheridan is?
Yeah.
Well, he's obviously best known for doing Yellowstone, but he was also on Sons of Anarchy and basically non-wokish stuff, right? So this week they announced on Paramount Plus he's got a new show out there called. What's it called? Lioness or something? Like Lioness?
Right.
The female Navy SEAL. I'm just like, oh, stop. Just stop.
So we've been having tech problems nonstop today. Now one side of my headphones just went out completely.
Was it from me saying that woke thing?
I think so. There's an agenda to shut down the show.
Yeah, we only got a half hour left. We'll make it.
So I want to play this. We talked about Barbie and all that. Let's talk about this broad.
All right.
Sorry, by saying the word broad, that is, I guess, projecting my masculinity towards women, and I apologize for that.
Well, hold on. Before you even play it, do you want to show this woman any respect?
Not particularly.
So then it's this broad.
Well, this broad.
Yeah.
This is the youth of America, and this is what the left is pushing in our faces. Welcome to 2023. To quote the great one, living in a world that I don't understand.
So I just got yelled at for asking a very reasonable question. So I'm applying to go somewhere, and I just wanted to know, are there accommodations for people who struggle with time blindness and being on time, And then the person I was with interrupted and acted like I was asking something else, and then when we were done, they actually started yelling at me and saying that accommodations for time blindness doesn't exist, and if you struggle with being on time, you'll never be able to get a job. Provided you're trying your absolute best to be there. And then they're like, your stupid generation wants to destroy the workplace. And yeah, I think that a culture where workers are just cut off because they struggle with being on time, when there's other solutions that we can look to, I think that just anybody who thinks it's okay to just treat people like that, yeah, that culture needs to be dismantled. And then I asked that person, how can you feel good about yourself upholding this kind of system? And then to think I'm entitled. No, if people think it's okay to treat others like this, that's entitlement.
She's an idiot.
Time blindness.
Does she not realize that everything she does is because there is no time blindness? Whether it goes to a store to buy her favorite video game, which is probably all she does, or, I don't know, watch a TV show, or go to the grocery store, or get tires changed on her mom's car, because I'm sure she doesn't own her own, or go to a movie, or anything that you would do outside of sitting home watching YouTube requires a time schedule, right?
Yes, and work is one of those things that absolutely requires a time schedule.
Yeah. Here's news.
I'm sorry, you dumb whatever. Going to work is one of those things that requires you to be on time.
Yeah.
And if you have time blindness and can't be on time, I'm sorry, then they should fire your ass.
Here's the news flash for this dummy. Jobs aren't there to accommodate you. Jobs are only there to give somebody some money to fulfill their need. Anybody that owns a business, and I do, I don't give a rat's ass what your need is, what your timeline is, what time you went to bed, what time you woke up, if you got enough sleep, if you partied all night. I don't care. All I care about is that my business opens at, in my case, 11 a.m. for Pinball PA. I don't care what you did the night before. I don't care if you have a phobia or not. My business is all I care about, and it better be open at 11 a.m. That's it. I don't care about you. That's the biggest misconception of all of it, is that her thought is that the business needs to be worried about her. No, you're just a cog That's really all you are. You're just a cog.
That is, forget about this time blindness. That is the problem with society today in a whole. That's the problem with Pride Month. That's the problem with Asian Pacific Islander Month. And every other month that we have or day that we have for somebody that thinks that they're special and needs to be recognized. Everybody today, especially the younger generation, I'm not trying to single anybody out, but it's the truth, thinks that they are special. They need special treatment. They need to be acknowledged on a personal level for whatever the shit that they're going through.
Yeah.
And screw you. You are not special.
No.
You are no special than anybody else out there. I have no friggin' leg. You know what? I still show up to work on time. Except for today, the podcast is late, but that wasn't my fault. That was a tech problem. But I was still sitting in this chair on time. When I go to train for my new job, which I've been doing now for over a week, I am there before I'm supposed to be there. So that way, if I have a problem getting out of my car or walking to the door, whatever the case may be, I'm not special.
Right.
I need to be at work on time.
Right.
And I'm not special for any reason. Some people may call me special and because of the way that I act and talk, but in a negative way. But I am not. I don't need to be singled out and help through life.
Yeah. I did remember in any job you've ever worked, you've told these stories about Triv that you thought that you were going to get fired early on. Like you were on the firing line.
Yeah.
And you know as well as I do, and maybe you'll admit to this, maybe it didn't happen, maybe I'm wrong, but everybody, when they think they're going to get fired, no matter what it is, has that theory in their head that this thing will never be able to continue without me.
Of course.
You know, everybody has that idea. That's what this dummy has. And you know what? The world will go on. You want special accommodations? Here's a special accommodation. Don't come in. We won't pay you. You're fired.
Producers that I've seen go in and out of that radio station.
Of course.
That thought that if they weren't there, that all of a sudden the radio station is going to be shut down.
Yeah.
And like WTA will never be able to broadcast again if I'm gone. I hate to tell you, everybody is replaceable.
Look,
except for Triv, obviously he was not replaceable because the ratings are for shit. But
they're still in business.
They're still going on.
I'm not defending what they did to Triv. Dude. I'm just saying they are still in business a year and a half later. So even Triv, the greatest single radio personality that radio station has ever had, he left. They pretended like he was never there, and they've continued on.
Right. They still run commercials, and they still, are having something that occupies airtime, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's that this generation's, and my daughter hates when I say that because she's not really one of those kids. She goes to work on time. She asked to stay late the other night. Couldn't because I wanted to go home. But she isn't like that.
Mm-hmm.
But the majority, I try to explain, of this new generation seems to think that they are special and owed something. They are entitled. I don't know what they think. They won some sort of a lottery, but they didn't. You're no different than we were when we were kids. Get your ass up, go to work when you're supposed to go to work.
Yeah. Work's not supposed to be out of convenience. You don't work for convenience purposes. You work because you have to. If you don't want to work, then do something, make a couple $1 million, and then you can be time blind. Then you can get up, like I'm sort of time blind in a way. I don't have to get up anytime. And you know this, dude. Sometimes I'm sending you emails at 5 a.m. Sometimes I'm not up until 5 p.m. I'm totally time blind, but I get my job done. And I've worked all those crappy jobs in order to get myself to this point now where I can work a little bit on my own terms. This person has never accomplished anything, and she thinks she could just be on her own terms because some stupid therapist told her that that's a good idea. She's going to accomplish nothing. She's going to wake up some afternoon, be 35, 36 years old, and go, how come all my friends are doing this and that, and I'm still making $10 an hour?
Right.
That's what's going to happen to a dummy like that.
Not for long, Carmine shaking in his boots. He's the one that is time blind. Carmen is time blind. Carmen is supposed to be a rib judge for the past 2 years out in Bedford, right?
Right.
He's still looking for where Bedford is. Like, when he worked in Independence, all he had to do was take 2 right turns to get to where the rib cook-off was to judge it. Never showed up the first year, and then never showed up this year. Because he is time blind, has no idea what time it is, what he's supposed to do, when he's supposed to be there. Either that or he just doesn't give a shit about his friends. So either way, I think it sucks.
Yeah, that does suck.
Carmen was ripped on air last week by the host for being lazy and not doing his job. Well, he's been doing that for years. Triv told him on a routine basis every morning, find a new job. Do something else with your life. But once again, he is time blind.
Yeah, that's...
Ass and a liar. But yes.
In your life, though, I mean, you've run across people that were never on time. And they were always fired.
Look, you can say a lot of shit about me, and I know Triv did, because there were a lot of times where he was not happy with me.
Sure.
But he could never in a billion years say that I wasn't on time. I got to work. We had a 9 o'clock call, and I would take the call here at home.
Mm-hmm.
And at 9 o'clock to like 9:15.
Right.
At 9:30, my ass would be in the car, and I'd be driving to work. My shift didn't start till 11. I was there before 10 o'clock every day.
Sure.
And he would say, well, why are you there so early? You don't do anything. And I said, because inevitably you're going to call me with something else. And so I need to be here just in case or when you do call. Because the responsibility of me is to be there on time or before, because I have a job to do. Whether you like the job or not is a different story. Mm-hmm. But I am going to be there when I say that I'm going to be there. If I talk to somebody and we plan a time for dinner or whatever it is, I am always on time or early. It used to bug the shit out of me when I'd go pick up my wife to go, when we were dating, to go out to eat. Because I'd show up exactly what time I told her I was going to be there or before, and then it would always be an hour later before we would actually go out somewhere.
Right.
Because she was always getting ready, this or that. When I say I'm going to be on time, and I expect that kind of thing, on time is a really big deal to me. And jobs expect that out of you.
Mm-hmm. That's part of the job.
In the 24 years of me doing radio, I don't think I was late one time. Once. One time.
Dude,
I called off or whatever, but I was never late.
You just went through an interviewing process with WHK, right?
Yes.
One of the things they did was said, you're going to need to work from this time to this time, or that time to that time, or they gave you, as part of the offer, was you need to commit to this schedule or this type of a schedule, correct?
Right, correct.
What is this moron talking about? Time blindness. If you accept a job, you're accepting it on the terms that were that job. There's no, well, what if I don't feel like it today? What if I can't make it at 11, but I'll be there by 1:30? Is that okay? No, it's not. What do we do with the product? Do we just not sell the product for 2.5 hours because you didn't feel comfortable? That is so stupid.
But again, it's just a microcosm of everything else that's going on. This generation, this whatever you want to call it, feel like they need to be singled out and get the approval of everybody else for whatever their little problems are or whatever their little beliefs are. They need to be coddled. They need to be told that everything's okay. If they want to be trans, they need to be told that it's okay. It's all right how you feel. It's all right if at 8 years old you want to cut off your dick and be a woman. That's okay. We're here. We got you. And that's not the way life should be. Somebody should step in and say, no, you're not special.
Yeah.
Quit thinking that you are. And it's okay for you to be sad and depressed. You'll get through it. I mean, it gets really annoying with this need to be taken care of and made to feel like you're okay and special in this world. You're not. You're like everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Deal with it. People have problems. Deal with them. I wake up on a constant basis, and there are certain days that I wake up, and I'm sure that you've had days like this going through all the stuff that you went through. There are days where I get up and I go, shit, I don't want to get up today.
Yeah.
I am pissed at life. I am pissed that I can't get the covers off me because I can't kick it off because I don't have a leg there. I'm pissed that I got to get up in a wheelchair to go to the bathroom at night. I'm pissed about all the different little things that people don't even realize that I go through on a day-to-day basis. And I get really sad. And there are days where I cry getting out of bed because I'm like, why is this happening to me? But then I realize that there are other people that have it worse than I do. There are other people that have it the same as I do and go through a lot of the same issues that I go through. I'm not special. And I need to get over my problems, suck it up, and get to life. Or what's the point? And I'm sick and tired of all these kids saying, well, I don't want to be on time. Or I'm gay, or I'm this, or I'm that, and you need to treat me better than you do. No, shut up and do your job. Shut up and start living your life.
Yeah. It's not our job to make it.
Super annoying.
It's never been our job. And this is you're hitting on the thing that I hammer on this all the time. It's never been our problem to make someone else feel safe. Well, I don't know where this came from, but this whole thought of I need to feel safe and everything is making me not feel safe and words are not safe and I don't feel safe if I'm forced to wake up before I want to wake up and I don't feel safe at a job that won't accommodate me. Everything is this whole thing of safe. When we grew up, nothing was safe. Dude, how many times were you out on your bike as a kid, jumping ramps made out of plywood that you found in a ditch somewhere or something? All the time. And that was completely unsafe. How many times did you hit that stuff and either the board broke or your bike broke or you fell or whatever? And you know, dude.
It sounds cliche, but my parents would make me walk to go get ice cream at night. And
Sure.
we're talking like a mile and a half down roads, busy roads and everything else. And I walked back and there was no worry about I was going to get picked up by some crazy person in a van and kidnapped and murdered and everything else. And maybe that stuff still happened, but that was life. You just did what you were supposed to do.
You just did. And even if you did stuff that you weren't supposed to do, the last thing in your world was feeling safe.
Yes.
Dude, I can remember as a little kid, and maybe this is just neutral to my neighborhood, maybe not, because I really have never thought about it, but we used to have rock fights, like throwing rocks at each other. Like there'd be us in one side of the street and there'd be another set of kids on the other side of the street, and we would throw rocks at each other. Literally throw rocks from driveways at each other and hit each other in the head. And now that's dangerous as hell. It's completely dangerous. Did we ever think about the danger? Dude, I have this scar. You could probably see it right here in my head.
Yeah.
That's from getting hit in the head with a rock. and it was like, and you know what I did the next day? After the stitches, we're right back outside and had another rock fight. We didn't fear anything. We sure didn't fear, well, oh my God, he might say a bad word about me. I mean, he might make me come to work on time. I'm scared. I've never had that feeling ever in my life. That's ridiculous.
I used to go down the street and play football with my friends, and we'd play tackle football. And
of course.
And one day, a kid walked by and didn't like the way that I looked, came over, punched me in the face.
Yeah.
You know what? The very next day, I was out there playing football again, and my parents didn't stop me from going down the street. I got punched in the face. My eye was black and blue for a week.
Yeah.
But you still went and did what you had to do. And now it's just a generation of, please help me. I'm sad. I don't know what else to do with my life. Come coddle me and tell me that everything's going to be okay.
Yeah.
I'd rather not be a girl. I'd rather be a boy. I'd rather not be a boy. I'd rather be a girl. I mean, it's bizarre. It's a different world altogether.
Dude, it's that, and the whole, not to pick on one thing, but this one drives me the most crazy of it all. I'm afraid of flying. I need my spirit animal with me. Shut up.
It really is. I don't get it. I just don't.
I don't get it either. I don't. Not only do I not get it, but I don't want to get it. I'm not going to try to get it.
Well, that makes you an awful person. If you're not understanding to the hardships of another person, that makes you a bad human.
Fine.
And you, again, after the Barbie movie, should check your masculinity at the door.
Yeah. But, and my answer to that all the time is, am I comfortable being a bad person or a good person in the weak people's minds? I'm okay being a bad person. I'm okay being thought of as a bad person to what I feel are weak, pathetic people. If weak, pathetic people don't like me, good, because that'll keep them away from me. And I don't want them near me in the first place.
You know what I'm ashamed that I like this.
Oh my God. Staples actually sells staples.
There's no shame in that.
There's no shame. I'm okay with it. All right.
That one's okay. Although I'm sure there are people that would tell you should be ashamed.
We lost tough love. That's true too.
We did. Say what you want about taking a good smack in the back of your head from your dad when you did something really bad. You didn't do it a second time, did you?
And again, now you're afraid to tell your kids that they're doing something wrong, or you're afraid because I don't want them to think I don't want her to be upset. I don't want my kid to be looking at me like I'm some sort of a monster, or I'm not understanding to her disaster in life.
Yeah.
You're afraid to be the parent that your parents were.
Yeah.
And it's sad.
And the proof is in the pudding. There's just less 30-year-olds being as successful as 10 years before. And if you go down that list and find people that were super successful at 30, because that would be basically this. We're at the point with this generation where they're pretty much turning 30, right? The millennials are turning 30. So how many you can name the ones that were successful on our day. Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, Jeff Bezos, blah blah blah. Pretty much everybody that's famous for being rich is between 45 and 65 years old.
Yeah.
There's not many of them at this age now, in the 30. There's a lot of them that have 10 billion YouTube hits on their YouTube channel. Right. But what does that mean? It's not successful. What is going to happen when the Chinese decide, okay, now's the time? Who in this generation is going to stand up? Who's going to be able to handle it? Who's going to be able to get out in the street and fight? They'll be like, don't attack me. My spirit animal's not with me.
I'm kind of glad I never had kids. I mean, that's fine for you. I wouldn't trade my daughter for anything. My daughter's a great kid, and I think that, my wife and I have done a fairly decent job of raising a semi-sane human being who understands the responsibility of work, and she's got a good sense of humor. She's beautiful, and she's very funny, and she's...
I get a kick out of her every day. She says something that makes me laugh.
Sure.
But I think that she's not the norm from a lot of kids that are out there today. I'm very proud that she's not beating down windows and stealing stuff and thinking that she's entitled to stuff. My daughter works hard for what she has.
And she'll probably do better than 9/10 of the people of her in her class and of her age, because she's not being groomed to be pathetic. She's being raised to not be pathetic.
It all started with participation awards in the 80s. No one is a loser participating, you're a winner. That is true.
Agree with that.
So Scott wants to hear the Millennial song.
Okay.
If you look it up on YouTube, you might be able to find it.
I don't even know it, but let's see.
It's called the Millennial song.
Wow, there's a bunch of them.
I'm going to take a quick break, and I'll look forward to.
Okay.
We'll get our last one in here, and maybe we can end the show with that.
All right.
I think it is kind of appropriate. So,
is it with 4 guys?
It's a guy. It might be 4 guys all together that look like the same guy.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I got it.
All right, hang on.
What's going on, everybody? It is Chris Aiken from Chris Aiken Presents and the Seth Williams Show, and of course the Classic Metal Show. And I know you need someone to be told something, right? Whether it's something nice, something not so nice. Maybe you need somebody fired and you just don't have the guts to do it. Maybe you need to tell your girlfriend to hit the pavement. Maybe you need to tell the boyfriend to hit the streets. Whatever it is, I got you covered. Right here with my Cameo, cameo.com/Chris Aiken. I will tell them, and I won't be nice, unless you want me to be. If you want me to be nice about it, I will certainly give the sweetest message possible. But if you need evil with a lot of F-bombs and a lot of words that I just can't even say on any sort of radio or TV program, I'll do that for you too. One more time, cameo.com/Chris Aiken. Buy a Cameo from me, and I will tell them like it is, the way you want them told. All right, see ya!
There's no place like home, and whether it's furniture, artwork, home accessories, appliances, or that one-of-a-kind collectible, Yellow Brick Road Online Auctions allows you to find everything you need from the comfort of your own home. The owner of Yellow Brick Road Auctions has been conducting online estate auctions for over 8 years by providing homeowners with a stress-free process to liquidate all items that have accumulated over the years.
I'm Melissa Mendici, owner of Yellow Brick Road Auctions. Log on today to find your heart's desire.
Hey, it's Seth from... All right, right back here at the Seth Williams Show with Chris Aiken on CMS TV, CMS Network.
Yeah. Here it is. Is this it? I can't really see it. I'll just play it. Here we go.
Ding, 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 ding. There he sits inside your local coffee shop, sporting a main burning facial hair. Somehow he believes, although he has no job, that by his 30s he will be a millionaire. M-I-L-L-E-N-N-I-A. Gotta love millennials. M-I-L-L-E-N-N-I-A. She posts lots of selfies on her Instagram with the quote that's inspirational. Hopes to change the world while wearing yoga pants, armed with her dreams and knowledge of essential oils. M-I-L-L-E-N-N-I-A. Gotta love millennials. M-I-L-L-E-N-N-I-A. Millennials, 27 years old, trying to make it on their own. Maybe start by leaving your parents home, but maybe we're just wrong. Criticism isn't easy for their ears. They feel like they know most everything. See, they grew up with undeserved confidence, 'cause they got trophies just for participating. M-I-L-L-E-N-N-I-A. Gotta love millennials. M-I-L-L-E-N-N-I-A. Gotta love millennials. In a couple of years, we will have to pass the torch. In a couple of years, they will be in charge, and one will be our president. Oh no. M-I-L-L-E-N-N-I-A. Gotta love millennials. M-I-L-L-E-N-N-I-A. Help. Please pray for millennials.
There you have it.
There you go. That's a good way to end it today.
Found that song a long time ago, and it's still true to this day.
It's funny.
Great clip to end the show. We're doomed. Yes. And if you want any more idea, if you're a man, especially how doomed we are, go see the Barbie movie.
That's right.
And then when you get out, light your genitals on fire and sit down to pee for the rest of the day because you are an awful person for being male alone.
Yes.
Want to thank Bobby from Saliva coming on today. Good stuff.
That was fun.
That was good times. And thanks to everybody for listening. Another great show today. Seth and Chris, thanks for doing. See you on Wednesday. Who's going to be on? Drowning Pool.
That's right.
We'll be on Drowning Pool. Let the bodies hit the floor.
I believe guitarist C.J. Pierce, one of the originals from Drowning Pool, will be on.
Awesome. So you probably heard that song. Well,
if the bodies hit the floor.
If you're like us, you've heard that song.
Well, even if you watch like football or anything, that song is that's a staple.
So that'll be Wednesday.
That's right.
So once again, guys, thank you very much, everybody, for listening. God willing, we'll talk to you on Wednesday. Have a great night.
See ya.
See ya.